Welcome to the First Presbyterian Church of Granada Hills, located at 10400 Zelza Avenue, Northridge, with Devonshire Street to the south and Chatsworth Street to the north. Although there are many buildings on this area, this is the sanctuary. The plot of land has roughly 7 acres. This is the view from the front of the sanctuary from the street. Construction type classification of the sanctuary is limited combustible ordinary. In Type 3 construction, the exterior of the building is non-combustible masonry and may be rated depending on the horizontal distance of the exposures. The interior structure elements may be combustible or a combination of combustible, non-combustible. In 1949, when the sanctuary was constructed, overhead sprinkler systems were not mandatory, therefore the church was not equipped with them. However, the church is working closely with the Los Angeles Fire Department to update the fire plans and equipment for the church. By far, the most prevalent, economical, and efficient fire protection system in use today are the sprinkler systems. For the most part, a sprinkler system will activate quickly, activating an alarm and discharge water only on the fire area. Water damage is considerably less than when fires are manually extinguished by firefighters, minimizing business interruption. Sprinkler systems are in service around the clock and are fully automatic. I was able to speak with some of the groundskeepers on site, and they were able to show me where the gas and the water main shut-off valves are. This is the main gas shut-off, and down here is the main water shut-off valve. There are 3 distinct components of the means of egress: the exit access, the exit, and the exit discharge. The exit access is that portion of a means of egress from any point in the building to an exit. The exit is the portion of a means of egress that is separated from all other parts of the building by rated assemblies and provides a pro-text path to the exit discharge. The exit discharge is that portion of a means of egress between the exit and that of the public walkway. According to the fire code preventions, which prohibits any storage in any exit and which would require that all doors leading into the exit be maintained, self-closing, and positively latching, must always be enforced. The assembly buildings must have a main entrance and exit that discharges to the public way and is capable of accommodating 1/2 of the total occupant load. During an emergency, the occupants tend to head for the main entrance, going out where they came in. The most abused fire resistance rated assembly is the fire door, simply because it has moving parts and comes in contact with humans more than any other assembly. Fire doors come in many shapes and sizes. This includes single side swinging, doors in pairs, Dutch doors, and horizontal and vertical rolling fire doors. This assembly includes the door, frame, and all the other hardware included in the hinges, latches, locks, closing mechanism, and any special features such as fusible locks. Exit doors must be side swinging and open in the direction of egress when serving an occupant load of 50 or more, or serving a high hazard occupancy. Panic hardware is required to release locks or latches on means of egress doors in assembly and educational occupancies where occupant loads exceed 100 and in a high hazard occupancy. Model building codes contain specific requirements for locks and latches on egress doors, such as these. Unfortunately, these devices are often changed, or after a tenant occupancy for security reasons is changed, without regard to the original code requirements. The means of egress from a building or space may be totally adequate in location and capacity, but if the occupants cannot get out the doors because of an unimproved locking or latching arrangement, the exits might as well not be there. A label is a permanent identification affixed to a product by a manufacturer indicating the function and performance of the product, name of manufacturer, and the name of the approved testing agency. Labeling is an important safety element of the code. Fire doors, windows, shutters, and even dampeners all must bear the label of an approved test agency. It shows the inspector the construction elements are listed and a particular application, and it shows the contractor that his supplier is delivering the proper materials. Sadly, in my opinion, at one point this heavy-duty door was a fire-rated door with its fire-rated glass and all, but at one point the label must have been removed or painted over. Thus, if the label has been removed or permanently covered, it voids it being considered a fire-rated door. Most of the things people do that compromise the means of egress fall into 5 broad categories. Exits are obstructed, obscured, the integrity of the construction is compromised in some way, the integrity of the function is compromised, or the exit is eliminated. By far the most common violation regarding the means of egress is the blocking of doors, aisles, or passageways. Often the consideration is remedied by the occupants within minutes of the occurrence. Other times the obstruction is permanent or semi-permanent. During the holiday season, the decoration placement is monitored and maintained so that it's not going to become a permanent. Most of the chairs and tables that are moved into this hallway have been moved because there is going to be a child's play currently going on or in production. Illuminated exit signs are emergency lighting of the means of egress as required, depending on the code and occupancies that exceed certain occupant loads, or are required to have more than one exit, such as the sanctuary. Emergency lighting is only required to provide 1 foot candle for a specified period of 1.5 hours, and is designed to enable the occupants to safely exit the building, not to sit and enjoy the light show. All codes contain an exit sign exception for buildings where the main entrances also serve as the main exits and is clearly visible, such as these. In these buildings, no exit sign is required at the main entrance or exit. Although for this one, it has a battery operated, whereas the ones in the main entrance are all hooked up to the main generators and are on 24/7. When the church was first built, there was no need for computers or sound for worship, but today both are used to enhance the worship services. There is also a system to help the hearing impaired members of the congregation hear the service music and sermon. The electronic devices are hooked up with electrical cords, which would ordinarily cause an around-the-clock hazard after hours if they were left plugged in. However, cords are detached from the computers and are only hooked up to the video and microphones only when needed. Fires are classified according to the material or fuel involved. Fire extinguishing agents are rated according to this classification system to ensure that the agent is compatible with the hazard. The different types of classes are as follows. Class A, which is common combustible, B, flammable liquid or gas, C, energized electrical equipment, D, combustible metal, or K, cooking appliances. The physical properties of the agent must match the hazard presented. Using a water extinguishing onto a burning circuit breaker panel would be an example of incompatible agent. Because the water conducts electricity, the user would be at a considerable risk of electrocution and the fire wouldn't be extinguished. The second consideration regarding the agent compatibility is between the agents themselves. Some agents, notable different dry chemical components, compounds, can react with other, making them less effective. Although halon extinguishers are no longer manufactured because it may harm the ozone layer, it is not illegal to use, but it's not smiled on. The Model Fire Code addresses the issue of emergency preparedness by mandating the development of emergency plans, requiring personnel training in emergency evacuations, the proper use of fire extinguishers such as these, and requiring the drills in high-risk occupancies. The IFC and the UFC contain requirements for appropriately trained crowd management at large events, and for fire evacuation plans, fire safety plans, emergency evacuation drills, and employee training and response procedures. This has been my Fire Technology 102 Fire Prevention Project. Thank you again for watching.